Do you want to know how to talk to your child about mental health? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, education, mental health. Those are the things that people come to this channel for. I teach all of those things through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we are going to be talking about mental health. In this video, we're going to be talking about what the modern conversation is right now about mental health, what we need to be aware of in the current trends of conversation about the topic, and what really makes good mental health for a person. If you really are healthy mentally, what does that mean? And how to talk to your children about that. Our world right now is, I'm just going to say it, obsessed with mental health. Everything is going back to mental health. There is so much funding, government funding, and donations and stuff to mental health. People are crowdfunding their mental health stuff. I mean, there's mental health everything. And people are so concerned. And why are they concerned? Because we are seeing very drastic things right now in our society. So we are seeing high numbers of suicides, higher than in years past, in recent years past. We are seeing high numbers of depression, high numbers of anxiety, high numbers of people who are isolating, who are self-loathing, who are cutting, who are doing things that identify, oh, there is a problem. We are having a mental health problem. But not only that, we have trends that are happening on social media and even just in schools and mainstream media where we are talking so much about mental health that we're almost turning every issue into a mental health issue. There is a difference between a mental health issue and a hardship. Every person has hardships. That's part of life. We get through hardships. There are ups, there are downs, there are good days, there are bad days. That's how it's always been, forever, for everyone. That's life. There are moments we succeed, moments we fail. Moments somebody loves us, moments somebody hates us. These are just the basic hardships of life. And a person who is mentally healthy can navigate their way through these hardships. That doesn't mean they won't be hard. They'll still be hard, but they'll say, nope, I got to get through this. I'm going to get through this. This is not going to stop me or hold me back. In fact, that's the main message they tell themselves is, I'm not going to be held back by this. I'm going to get past this. I'm going to move on. I'm going to heal from this. It's going to be okay. It wasn't too long ago, less than 100 years ago, about 80 years ago, we had World War II. People suffered atrocious things during that time. Things that you wouldn't even imagine humans would do to other people. They had to go through that. Talk about hardships. Were there mental health problems? Oh yeah. There was trauma, real trauma from the things that they saw. But do you know what a lot of them did? I get a little choked up when I think about it. They said, well, we can't change the past, but we can change our future. And so we will go forward with hope. We will make this world better than it was. We will not forget what we had to suffer through, but we will not put that suffering on anybody else. People who fought against each other in the war, who saw people from the other side kill their brothers and friends, forgave each other. People don't even do that anymore. They don't forgive. They just say, now I have to be scarred forever because of this. We used to have grit. So this is where we're at with mental health. In mental health right now, if somebody's experiencing a problem, maybe it's depression or whatever, usually the conversation, whether it's in a therapy session or with a friend or with a counselor at school or something like that, ends up turning to, why did this happen? Who did this to you? So it goes to your excuse, the blame person. Now, of course, sometimes we might have to find a person You know, we might have to say, well, this was the circumstance for how it happened, and we have to tell our story, and that might be a healthy part of our recovery from something that happened, or a healthy part of our being able to move on. But what's happening is that story is now being twisted into, now that person is an oppressor. That person is a hater. When maybe that person is just a regular person, they just didn't understand. They don't even know they hurt your feelings. They, whatever. I mean, maybe they're your parent and they're telling you to clean your room, but you don't want to clean it. Is that not a hardship that a person could handle? People are saying, well, that gives me anxiety. I can't do that. I can't hear that. I can't hear my parent tell me to clean my room. It gives me anxiety. Maybe you do feel anxious about your room because it got that bad. But we don't solve our problems by just saying, I can't handle my problems. That doesn't solve our problems. And wise parents, people in the mental health industry that truly care about children and about adults and about families and about progress and purpose, would try to help people solve their problem, not find someone to blame all the time. That's how we need to handle our mental health situation that we have in current society right now. How do you talk to your child about mental health and about what's going on in their lives? Now, I don't know right now whether to assume you've got a child who does have a mental health need, and whether it's a socially groomed mental health need, somebody who's formed it in them because of social media, or whether it's like a legitimate, mental health need, which there's tons of those too. Or I don't know whether to think of, okay, this is a parent who their child doesn't have a mental health need, but they just want to educate them about mental health. I could take two angles there. I don't have time to take both. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that there are key things you want to hit when having a discussion about mental health with a child, whether it's their mental health or whether it's about the mental health with somebody else. So the first thing is, when we're discussing mental health with somebody, we don't want to be in a reactionary state. So we don't want to be reacting to some emotion that we're feeling right now. If we are in an emotional place, it's not a good time to solve our problem, to discuss, or to recognize what's going on. What we want to do is, if our child has a mental health problem, and we want to help them make a plan for the future. In all of my parenting stuff, I teach a whole training. It's called the TSG Parenting Course, or we also have the Teaching Self-Government Parenting Mastery Training. And in that training, what we do is we teach all of the skills of self-government. These skills are going to be very beneficial for parents and children dealing with mental health issues. When I did therapeutic treatment care, these were the things that I used. So one of those things that I did was what was called parent counseling sessions. And so I can teach you how to do that in the training, but you have this one-on-one time with the child where you say, okay, this is a situation that's going on. Let's make a plan for how to handle it in the future. You create your plan using some of the self-government skills that I can train you on. And then the child in the future is able to analyze, oh, this is a moment of anxiety, or, oh, I think I'm feeling depression. I'm going to follow through with my plan right now, or I'm going to go talk to my mom and get going on my plan right now. So we create calmness plans, happiness plans, stress-free plans. Those types of things are what we're going to create for our children using the skills and principles of self-government. First, when you go into those conversations with the children, make sure that everybody is in a calm place. Make sure that you're ready to have open conversations so that you can actually create a plan going forward. We don't want to stigmatize anything, so we don't want to make anything sound bad or odd or weird or like they're broken. Just say, this can happen. This is part of regular life. People have always experienced stuff like this, because it's true. People have always experienced stuff like this. That should give us comfort. We shouldn't worry more because of that. We should worry less. And all of those people made it through. Well, I mean, there might be a few that, had a struggle for their whole life, but that's because they never learned the skills for how to handle it. So then we teach our children the skills. We teach them certain skills. I would start with the 4 basic skills, where they learn how to describe what's going on. They describe, okay, this is the situation. I'm looking at the situation. What is my situation? This is it. I am feeling frustrated right now, or I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. That could lead to stress. That could lead to something else. So how do I want to process this? I want to tell myself, this is a feeling of being overwhelmed. It's a human feeling. What is my plan for when I feel overwhelmed like this? Who am I going to talk to and how am I going to handle it? So you start teaching them to describe what's going on and then to follow through with their plan. Usually when they follow through with their plan, they're going to need some skills. So there are different skills of self-government that I teach. There are skills for parents and skills for children. Really, we teach everybody all the skills, but there are these 4 basic skills. You're going to want to start there. When a person is feeling anxious and they describe what's going on, they recognize what's happening, they might need to stop and then tell themselves, that's a no answer. I'm not going to go down that emotional road. That's not going to be productive for me. Instead, I'm going to think this and I'm going to go this way. And just so you know, that's not stuffing your emotions. People think that if you choose not to go down a certain path and you just leave it alone and go a different way, that somehow you're hurting yourself. That's not true. It's actually optimism, it's hope, it's self-direction, it's self-instruction, and maybe even self-correction. It's incredibly powerful stuff. It takes more energy to do that than to beat another person up. That is powerful stuff. What is stuffing then? Stuffing is when you wanted to go down a certain direction or you felt bad about something. And then even though you did something else, you keep feeling bad about that same thing. You keep feeding the emotion. You ruminate on it. You think, oh, I couldn't talk to anybody else. Nobody understands me on this. Da, 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 da. And you teach yourself those things again and again and again in your head. Those things could go on for years. That's stuffing. Usually it's something you do to yourself. That's what a lot of people don't recognize. They like to blame somebody else for why they stuffed. Now, it is true, sometimes having someone to talk to can really help. And if someone won't talk to you, you might end up stuffing because you don't know what else to do. But in reality, you don't ever have to stuff if you don't want to. If you learn how to let it go and say, I'm not going to choose to entertain that. I'm going to choose to go in this direction because it's better for me and more productive. And I'm not going to care about that anymore. A person can choose to do that. It takes a lot of maturity and self-awareness. But it is possible to do. So you're going to want to have those types of planning meetings with your children, and you're going to want to teach them about how they can talk to you about anything, but about how we always want to give the conversation the opportunity to move forward, to move past the problem. Let's solve the problem and move past it. Let's not take it with us forever. You may even want to warn your child that in our mental health obsessed world, there might be people, friends and others, who just get together and air all of their problems and things that they ruminate on, all their grievances and, frustrations. And while sometimes we want to be there for each other as friends, it's also important to recognize that if you engage in that, you may start to ruminate on past things that you never ruminated on or cared about before, because they might tell you you need to, just because you had a different experience than them. When it's trendy right now for children to have mental health issues, it's super important to help our children know that they do not have to fit in with that crowd, that if they do, they actually might be choosing to take on more mental health worries than they currently have, that they need to learn the healthy ways to handle their mental health. There's so much more information on this channel about healthy ways to handle your mental health. So I hope that you will look up more videos about emotions, about feelings, about frustrations, about anger, about relationships. There's so many things here that are meant for you to help you. That's what I'm here for. This whole channel is my gift to the world to try to make the world a better place. So I hope it helps you and your children.